Speaker. Mr. Speaker, and still I rise. I'm always proud to stand in the well. It's an honor to have the preeminent privilege to speak to the nation from this point, from this very place in Congress. And Mr. Speaker, I rise today to call to the attention of the American public, the American people, an article that was printed in the New York Times on yesterday. It is styled, "I am part of the resistance inside the Trump administration." I cannot vouch for this article, but there is one passage that I can speak of with some degree of credibility. It reads, "We believe our first duty is to our country." Regardless as to what else in this article may or may not be true, this is true. Our country should come first. I love my country, and I stand here today because I do. It goes on to say, "And the president continues to act in a manner that is detrimental to the health of our republic." This is true. I think there is little debate about some aspects of the things that the president has done that are detrimental to the health of the republic. We know that it was detrimental to the health of the republic for the president to say there were some nice people among the racists and bigots in Charlottesville where a person lost her life. We know that it's detrimental to the republic for the president to institute a policy that separates babies from their mothers and not find a way to this day to put them back together. We know that that's detrimental to the republic. But what we also know is that there are great talking points about what the president has done. Great talking points about how he's harming society. Great talking points about how he is unfit to be president. Great talking points. But here is the question. Where are the action items? It's not enough to have great talking points. I hear them all the time, if you will, on various shows on television. You hear people talking about how this is not American. This is un-American. Great talking points. But at some point, we have to go from talking points to action items. At some point, we have to deal with the problem. It's not enough to identify it. We've got to also identify the solution. And there is a solution to an unfit president. I thank God for giving me this opportunity to be in Congress. And I will not let my record show that I was here and when there was a scourge, if you will, on the country by virtue of the way the president is behaving, I will not let my record show that I didn't take advantage of this opportunity to stand in the well and denounce what this president has done. There is a solution. Everybody knows it. And we're going to get there. But I will say this to you. We cannot allow political expediency to stand in the way of the moral imperative to remove a president who is doing things that are detrimental to the country. This is not about Democrats, it's about democracy. It's not about Republicans, it's about the republic. And we're going to save this republic. We've got to remove this president from office. I have filed articles of impeachment to do so. I stand on what I have done, and I stand on this. I will not allow this to continue without a challenge. I will challenge him again. I will challenge this House. I will challenge us because this is our country that is in jeopardy and we're doing very little to stop it. And we have the powers. The framers gave us the means. There's not a question of whether there's a way. The question is, do we have the will to stand up for justice and stand up for our country? There's one solution. Article 2, Section 4 speaks to it. There will be an impeachment of this president, or at least an attempt to get him out of office by way of impeachment. I stand on it. I yield back the balance of my time.
The chair recognizes the gentleman from North Carolina, Mr. Holding, for 5 minutes.